This EV Rider episode is presented in Spatial 3D. You can watch the regular version of this episode by clicking the link in the description field. Volkswagen finally gives us an iconic design that combines the practicality of a minivan with styling harking back to one of its biggest success stories. Is the ID Buzz a worthy successor to the Microbus? Let's find out. You know, Volkswagen's old air-cooled microbuses made so much sense to bring back as an EV because just like those old rear-engine buses that allowed for nice flat floors and a big interior, relatively speaking, the same thing is true of EVs. With their batteries and a skateboard platform and electric motors, there's so much practicality in this vehicle. Now, one thing that's totally changed with this becoming an EV is, of course, there's none of the noise that goes with an air-cooled engine. This is a plush, nice place to be. It's a great vehicle to soak up the highway miles or run around town taking the kids to scouts or soccer, softball, whatever the case may be. And how about that color palette? Finally, VW is back with two-tone candy white colors mixed with eye-popping combinations like pomelo yellow, energetic orange, and cabana blue. And if your taste runs more mellow, no worries, you'll still find more sedate choices like blue charcoal. You know, even though I'm dating myself by using this term, this has got to be the grooviest option available in the U.S. minivan market. Better yet, you'll never need to sweat getting to the kids' soccer game on time because you'll never need to stop for gas, since you can start every day with a full charge by just unplugging. VW's modern-day bus is much more practical than the old air-cooled classics, getting an EPA estimated combined 80 miles per gallon equivalent, which is a formula the EPA uses to estimate distances you can go on electricity as compared to gas. And even if you opt for the all-wheel drive version, these electric minivans are so much more fuel efficient than the old air-cooled microbuses. All the electronics and safety features families have come to expect are available. In fact, it's got so many features packed in, I'm hard-pressed to think of much of anything that's not available. You know, one of the things I think is cool about the ID Buzz, it does have a full glass roof, but one of the things they did that's really tech-friendly is you swipe across and it darkens the roof. So as opposed to a fabric cloth covering up the roof, it just gets darker. I think anybody that takes the time to drive the ID Buzz will come away impressed with what Volkswagen has put together with this vehicle. You know, in a lot of ways, minivans are more practical than SUVs, but for whatever reason, minivans have largely fallen out of fashion. And I think at least part of that is due to so many of them have drab styling. You know, my minivan days are over. My kids are long since grown. But I gotta say, if I was shopping for a minivan tomorrow, given what else is in the market, the ID Buzz would probably be at the top of my list. The all-wheel drive version can tow up to 3,500 pounds with a manually retractable hitch, which is completely hidden when not in use. Given this is a long wheelbase minivan, I am pleasantly surprised how tight the ID Buzz's turning circle is. The ID Buzz's infotainment system is a pleasant surprise to me. The reason I say that is VW took some grief for its infotainment system, and I don't really see what all the fuss is about. Yeah, it's not super fancy in terms of graphics, but it certainly has all the features I've come to expect, including wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and a very nice implementation of HD radio with large album art. Now, once you do get out on the highway, it does have all the electronics a lot of people have come to expect. It does have lane keeping. It does have adaptive cruise control. And for you van lifers that have been dreaming of an EV solution, here it is. No surprise, but aftermarket companies are starting to customize the ID Buzz with at least one even adding a pop-up roof tent, just like some of the old microbuses had. Now, I'm not aware of any plans right now for Volkswagen to offer a factory version of the camper, but we can always keep our fingers crossed because we all know back in the day that was a popular option for VW buses. The ID Buzz has been getting a lot of attention. For example, when I had it parked outside my office, people were stopping to look at it. I saw one lady take a picture of it. Another man in a Tesla, he stopped to talk to me, wanted to know all about it. He was psyched about the ID Buzz. The ID Buzz has also been racking up awards, winning everything from Motor Week's Driver's Choice Award to the North American Utility Vehicle of the Year at the Detroit Auto Show. And for good reason. This thing excels at its primary mission as a family hauler. Of course, one of the nice things about the ID Buzz is it is a true minivan, and it accomplishes that mission with tons of practicality, including a lot of space here in the third row seat, which of course is one of the big reasons you buy a minivan over a three-row SUV to begin with. It's got tons of storage and can even haul 4x8s with the second and third row seats folded flat. That's certainly something most pickup trucks can't even do without the board sticking up above their tailgates. When it comes to those family road trips to the beach, camping, or whatever, the ID Buzz has a range of 234 miles for the rear-wheel drive configuration or 231 miles for the all-wheel drive models. Although, I'm guessing if you've got all three rows filled with kids in their gear, you'll probably want to grab a charge after about 150 miles, if not a little sooner. When you do finally stop for a snack break and charge, the ID Buzz can suck down the electricity at a rate of up to 200 kilowatts. That means it can go from 10 to 80% of charge in 26 minutes under ideal conditions. At home, you can add up to 11 kilowatts in an hour. So even if you get back with an almost empty battery, you'll still have a full charge by morning, assuming you install a 60 amp charger. If you've got questions about home charging, see the video linked at the end of this one. Now, for anyone considering the ID Buzz, it does come in a variety of configurations. For example, my ID Buzz has the bench seat in the middle, but you could also get captain's chairs if you prefer. For a minivan, the ID Buzz handles great. Acceleration is probably stronger than in any minivan you've ever experienced. The all-wheel drive ID Buzz can get from 0 to 60 in a VW rated 5.5 seconds, which is faster than some of the V8s that boomers will remember from their youth. You know, another nice thing that Volkswagen did as a nod to the old VW bus is if you don't get the all-wheel drive version, the single motor version actually has the motor in the rear, just like the old bus did. If I was buying one, unless I lived in a snowbelt state, I think I'd probably stick with rear-wheel drive to save a few extra dollars. I mean, this is a minivan, not a sports car, so I don't need blistering fast acceleration anyway. The ID Buzz starts at $59,995. Our nicely optioned first edition topped out at just over $68,000. As always, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Did Volkswagen hit it out of the park finally with the ID Buzz? Was it worth the wait? Was it worth the hype? Let me know in the comments. In the US, the ID Buzz's closest competitor is the Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid. Its base price starts at $52,750, but can also climb above $60,000. The ID Buzz is a wonderful option for families. It brings a splash of fun to a segment that had gotten a bit boring over the years. A big thanks goes to Tom Bush VW for supplying the ID Buzz featured in this review. If you've enjoyed this episode of EV Rider, please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and give this video a like and maybe even share it with a friend. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you again soon with another adventure in EV Motors.